So I just want to, Mark ended, we started talking about purpose this morning with John Foraker, and we ended talking about purpose this afternoon with Mark. And I think that really speaks to the thread that goes through so many of the companies in this room. Now, it's our purpose at Project NOSH and at BevNet and at Brewbound to keep bringing you news, to keep bringing you trends, to keep growing this community and growing this business for all of you. And I just want to say that our team's purpose is to put on a good show for you today. And I want to salute Ashley Harding, Carolyn Craven, Carol Ortenberg, Megan McGinnis, who's the senior reporter at Project NOSH, John Craven, our founder, and our graphics team, and our AV team, and everyone who is putting this together. And I want to thank you as well for coming. Now we're going to hear who our new product showdown winner is.
We're going to snag a hand mic. This was a long deliberation, so long that some of the judges didn't have time to get mic'd back up again. The folks were, BevNet folks were out there joking, saying this was actually like the longest deliberation they had ever seen. So judges, speaking generically, what made this such a tough decision? You guys were really discussing all the nitty-gritty points.
Taste is sort of table stakes, and all the product tasted excellent. Really, every brand and product met the beyond the minimum requirement of what we all thought was, wow, this brand tastes well. If you get it in people's mouths, they're going to enjoy it.
Great. And something we talked about a lot was these products knowing who their consumer was. What did you guys observe in the products and who they were speaking to, and if they necessarily were nailing that message? Greg, how about you?
Some did it better than others. I would say there was quite a few flaws in some of the brands that made it difficult to decide. None of them we thought was like plug and play, ready for scale. All of them seemed like they needed some, few fundamental tweaks to really get them geared up, and that could been about really communicating some of those key attributes that make them well defined in whatever set they're going to be in. And
Josh, how about you? How important is scalability?
Scalability is really big. And I think thinking about the category and what's the category potential, but kind of echoing what Greg was saying, I think thinking about that hierarchy of benefits, it's very easy to come up with a laundry list and say, here are 12 reasons why you should buy our product, but really getting behind that one. And I think the one that we chose that was most successful maybe was probably the strongest at really knowing what their benefit was and driving that home in a strong way.
And Stephanie, you were our heat seeker and into all the spicy flavors we had today. How did flavor play a role in whether or not they nailed what they were going for on their packaging?
Yeah, so I think, again, some did it better than others, and I think as you're looking at what is on the pack and what you expect to taste, I think that's a really important part of the process as a consumer, and so I think the one that we chose did a nice job of aligning that.
And Dave, for you, you were sitting there going, as an investor, which one of these do I want to invest in? What draws you, what made you more excited about some brands versus others?
Well, we all felt that none of the brands were sort of, again, plug and play. They, as Greg said, they needed some help. But the question is, can you bring that help to get to an opportunity that's very scalable? So going back to your prior question, for me, scalability, and as to I think any investor, scalability is critical. What's the market opportunity? I think, from a pitch perspective, one piece of advice for the folks who are pitching is to really present that to the folks you're pitching to. What is the market opportunity? What are some of the competitors doing in this space? How big do you think this brand could get? In a very short time of us going through it, that's data we didn't have available to us. So it was a little challenging, actually. There were a number of brands we were all excited about, but we were trying to get our our hands around, how big could this really be? And when you're thinking about it from an investor perspective, that's one of the absolute critical questions.
And was there anything else about the winner, without giving it away yet, that kind of really resonated with you guys?
Yeah, I would say the brand design is really nice. So, I think people want to see a roadmap for the eye, right? So the brand name, flavor, callouts, and all the other key points that make you want to buy it. And I think the winner did that very well. It's a very nice package. And then, there's still some opportunities to improve.
What made it such a tough decision? You guys were literally going back and forth. Was there flavor, taste?
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple that we were really torn between because they had all of those pieces there, and it was a matter of which one we felt was most ready or closest to that point. But again, I think small tweaks, and there could be a few.
And building, I think the two that we were deliberating between at the end, both really delivered great flavor, great taste. And I think there was a lot of discussion back and forth, back to your question about scalability, about what is the absolute size of that category and how big can that category become. So I think that was a big discussion point too.
Well, I think we've drawn out the suspense long enough. So before we announce the winner, I guess I'm going to draw out suspense a second longer, sorry. I just want to point out that you guys all have received an email. It's also at the bottom of your agenda. There is an after party tonight. We would love to see you guys there, continuing the networking, continuing the discussions. It's a great casual environment to get to know your fellow attendees. If you're sticking around for BevNat Live, we also have some events this weekend that any BevNat staff member is happy to tell you about. So with that, and no further ado, John, if you can bring the giant check on stage. The winner is Tribali, before the check can even get here. So come up to the stage. Well, thank you guys so much for coming today, and please continue to enjoy the evening. Thank you.